Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Truth in Plain. HelioPsychosis podcast. Sorry, guys, I just got back to my old show. So, welcome to the show, guys. If you're watching us from YouTube, we have some other people we have not seen before. Flatter Day Saint. We've got Intellectual Catch Up, Carl Fletcher, RTS Update, Dr. Frankenstein, Johannes Fig, Real Truth Seekers. Welcome, guys. If you're watching us from the Facebook group, also do like, comment, share the show. We have some amazing topic today. We've been waiting for a week for this show. And if you're watching us from RTS, realtruthseekers.com or .net, also welcome, guys. And let's get on with our guest. Oh, finally we have our co-host, our helicopter pilot, engineer, my good friend Rob Taylor. Rob, where have you been, brother? Welcome.
Yes. Hello, Vika. You've been quite busy this week. Thanks for the invite again. I just want to mention to everybody, we are talking with if there ever was a flat earth guru, guru. It is he, Vika Draziv, the flat Earth guru. Thanks for having us all, Vika, and thanks for everybody else. Nice to see everybody else with us, Gene, Eddie, and Kevin. Nice talking with you guys.
Hey, Rob.
Excellent, excellent, brother. Nice to have you
Let's go,
back
guys.
again. And my other co-host who
Thank
also
you.
always join me. Thank you, brother. And we all know him also, Genie, my friend. How are you, brother?
I'm doing great, Vika. Thanks for having me, bro. We have an all-star panel here right now. I'd like to say hi to everyone in the audience for coming back, and anybody new. This is going to be a great show.
Oh yeah, we've been waiting for this. And then on, thanks for being here, Genie.
Thank you.
And then our next guest, also we know him, star of Flatten the Curve, Kevin Bobick. Sir, how are you?
Very good, Vika. Thank you so much for having me. Shout out to you for sure. Jeannie, shout out to you. Eddie, Rob, always a pleasure.
Thank you, bro.
Excellent, bro. And our special guest and friend,
Yes.
Eddie, Flatted Banjo. How are you, brother? Welcome.
I'm fine, Vika. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone who's listening out there. Rob, Kevin, Gene, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Let's talk about flat Earth.
Yes. Just wanted to say
Yes,
that
indeed.
we had an
Talk
hour
about
difference because
reality.
of the problem. They changed the time. In Europe, they added a 1 hour, and that's why we had this confusion of that 1 hour, and the program was delayed for an hour because of this time change. I don't know they do this shit on purposely to confuse the people, or is to make the people work more an hour. No idea, you know.
Yeah.
What you
It
guys
doesn't.
think?
It doesn't help.
Doesn't help my sleep schedule.
Nah, it's very
Yeah.
confusing.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
should
because
just
our
stick
body.
with the natural.
Taking flag back into top.
Rob, we hear
Yeah,
you very low, and you're cutting out too. Go ahead, Eddie.
Okay.
yeah, I
Okay.
just think they should stick with the sun being our, hourly showing the time, just like we do on the time zones with the sun. And it's midday when it's noon. That's where the sun is. That's the way it should be, But they change it just to mess things up.
Strongly agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it really confuses the people with the because the bio clock of a person that you get used to these 6 months, and because of this, they just that change that hour and everything changes. You know, your your sleep time, your food time, your whatever. You know, everything it just messes it up. But your bio clock knows inside what's the correct time, and it's
Yes, it
crazy. These
is.
people.
You're probably exactly right. They do it
And
on.
go ahead, Kevin.
I said probably exactly right. They do it on purpose.
Oh yeah, that's why because they could just because if we have the 12 months the same time everything same perfectly, and so the people would even start looking and thinking maybe that's one of the reason also that they don't want.
Agreed.
They just pummel us with confusion, though, so they'll do it any way they can. I
Okay,
have a question about the clocks. Everything's digital. Nobody's got a wind up clock, so they can control any amount of time they want. If the days get shorter, we wouldn't possibly know it.
Now, I gotta tell you something. I don't remember here in Japan ever moving the clock forward or backward. I don't think they do it here in Japan.
Mm.
Also, the other thing is because Japan, they have a lot of the old culture here. So some cities they go by the moon calendar. So it's pretty awesome, actually. Like they follow the
Yeah,
moon
that's awesome.
calendar a lot here. It is. It is.
That's the
So
that's
I
the
don't
biblical
remember.
calendar, by the way.
Yeah, really.
Yes, yes. So
There you
like
go.
when a woman gets pregnant here, it's always 10 months. Like in Brazil, it's 9 months. They count 9 months, but he is always according to how many weeks and the moons. Very interesting the way they do here.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
this,
The
Yes,
ancient.
and
They
by the
also
way,
say that.
the yeah, sorry, the
Go
Eastern
ahead, Rob.
Indians in the
No.
United States, the Cherokee, at least, they follow
Right.
the lunar calendar as well because they came from Jerusalem. There you go. And someone told me this that the Shinto culture and following their religion there in Japan, it's almost word for word Old Testament. So there you go. That's why they follow the lunar calendar.
Oh yeah, do you know they have a festival here where they carry people? They carry like a whatever something. It looks just like the Ark of the Covenant.
hmm,
Oh, there you go. There you
wow.
go. The Japanese
Just
were always
like
good
man.
people.
And also
And
Well,
some of
also
the
not.
Japanese characters are just like Hebrew. You know, it's very interesting.
Hmm.
oh, there you
And
go. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
And Eddie, I'll contact you later on. I want to develop this. I want to learn more about it.
Okay. All
and
right.
also is the
Beautiful.
28, like 28 days day month into 13 months is a year. That's why we know that the Gregorian calendar has been changed, and that there are exactly 13, how do you say, 13 months in a year,
Lunar
so
cycles.
they're like, so January, February, and March is supposed to be 12, 13, 10, 11, and 12th month, like that, 13 months, no? So they really mess it up because the moon is really doing the complete circle, the cycle of the month, and there is
The,
no, because it's natural.
There you
you
go.
know,
Natural.
the
Yes.
sun tells the time of the day, and the moon tells you the time of the month, and the stars tell you the time of the year.
There
Yes,
you
sir.
go.
Bang bang.
Got it.
Yeah, and they don't change. and
They don't change because of
it's
the firmament, because
thir-
it's one big timepiece.
yeah, yeah, and there's 13 cycles within our 12-month period, right? I think,
Right.
right? Yeah. So they, yeah,
All right,
they
so
just. Mhm.
yeah, so this 2 days or 3 days ago, we all released the video from Eddie about this trip these guys are planning, and the best part was we all, as Eddie wanted, we all released it in the same time. There was maybe at least 6 to 7 channels who released it at the same moment. So hope that word has reached more or less, to different part of the plains, and we are today exactly here to discuss that. So we try to keep it the whole show about that, about the flight. So we're going to start with Eddie. Eddie, I remember in your book that is shown Captain Marcelo, he's doing that flight. Do you remember how many hours did he take? He was speaking about that flight.
Yeah. When they were coming from Sydney to Buenos Aires, right? And the
Okay,
total
so it was
flight
opposite.
time, yeah. So the time they flew for 10 hours in the dark, meaning they had no communication, no satellite coverage for 10 hours. Okay, the whole night, and
Yeah, dead
they
reckoning. Yeah,
yes,
in dead
exactly.
reckoning. Yep.
Okay, so now like we got an email. One of the guys were explaining. The Globe is trying to explain why that supposedly they have to stop in South Africa, but that's not the point because they this guy Kelsey, he's planning to have this flight from Buenos Aires to Perth, but we are trying, we flat earthers, for 1 year trying to fly, hire him to fly over Antarctica, just like he said he would do it, and he went completely silent. He disappeared from radar. Okay. Now he came up with this that we are gonna soon find out. We're gonna watch a video of this flight taking place, but there will be no flat earthers. So there's no way to prove the flight is real or not. You know.
No,
So
Did
you
you
know
all see that?
that's
Did you all see that few months before there was a flight that they said that landed in Antarctica? No, forget about North South Pole or something. Somewhere in very near to Argentina or somewhere. I don't know if you all checked it out. It was maybe few months ago. It was all over. Was a small flight. It was a jet, but private jet. But they made it reach there, But I don't know where, which part of Antarctica they're saying and where, but could be anywhere. It could be somewhere with ice, It doesn't have to be Antarctica. So
Exactly, man. It's a movie. It's a movie. It could be in the Arctic. It could be anywhere.
Could be Greenland.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Greenland.
That's
Yeah,
why I don't trust them.
exactly. Exactly. I mean, they release a movie. It's edited. Everything is edited. It could be all CGI. We don't know.
the funny part, Eddie, the funny part is that the pilot, the man, the flat earther offered him $300,000, and the Kelsey is saying, "Hold that money. I'm going to show you on video." What? Somebody's offering you three
Exactly.
hundred thousand dollars to do that flight, and you're saying, "No, wait. I'm going to show you one video." Oh, all right. It's a
That's a red
total red
flag.
flag.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, and the sad thing is like, because it's a big conspiracy, all the news and they will show this stuff as being real. And I mean, it's so dishonest from their part just to keep this lie. They have no limits on their lies. Like they just do it just to keep people, in the dark, being blind. But some of us are trying to fly, like the guys, even Jaron, he he offered, let's get together. We all of us flat earther. We we can book a 767, 747, $600,000, 200 passengers, $3,000 per passenger. Let's fill it with flat earther and do this flight. But Kelsey, he backed away, and he said, "No, man, I'm just a pilot. I don't own the airplane. I can't do that." You know, After making a lot of noise about it, and now he's gonna produce a
Exactly.
video. So let's see what's going on.
Let's see how
But
good he is at editing, right?
Exactly.
this, Eddie, like you said, there's not going to be anybody but globe earthers there. Nobody for a check, like to check this out live.
No way,
So it's
nobody.
like giving. It's like giving the keys to the crime scene to the criminals,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Yeah, there's
They're
no
not
Okay,
going to
way.
give us anything
there's
real.
one thing, Eddie. They say on a globe, on their globe map or on their globe Earth, the distance between Australia to Buenos Aires to Perth is around 11,304 kilometers. I don't know how much is it in miles. Okay, so on a globe they say that, and how many hours these people are speaking of this flight they are planning. That these things,
Be-
this data, all this data is very important. Okay, then
uh,
and then okay,
Yeah.
go ahead if somebody wants to add.
Well, on the messages that I published on my video, exchanged between the two parties, the company that's renting the plane, they say they calculated between 13 to 15 hours, right? Which is super fast. Now, one of the Globies was telling that the GR, Gulfstream GR 650 extended range ER, is just a twin engine, so it's not going to fly over Antarctica. But 2 years ago, the astronaut Terry Virts, he supposedly flew around the planet from north to south with the same airplane. All right, the same airplane, and I have here the Gulfstream 60 G650ER, has a range of more than 7,500 miles. So that equals to almost 12,000 kilometers. It should be like the same plane was used by Derry Birds, but now the one of the guys say, well, maybe he's not gonna make it with a Gulfstream 650 because it's a twin engine, and they are not allowed to fly twin engine over Antarctica. But Terry Virts supposedly did. So I mean, they keep changing their story.
Exactly, because I wanted to see the time difference what Captain Marcelo's flight from Australia to
Buenos Aires.
Argentina, and yeah, and how much time they want to cover with the distance they are saying, because on the globe they are saying is around 11,000 miles, 11,000 kilometers, maybe it's 8,000 miles. I don't know how much, but so we should see the differences, because what are the differences? Because how much time you think Captain Marcelo took to that flight when he did that flight between?
14
It's
hours.
in your book.
14 hours from
For
Sydney, but they flew with the jet stream.
right.
Yeah, they fly from Sydney to Buenos Aires with the jet stream, which adds, it can add up to
So they
300
are going
kilometers
against
per
the jet.
hour.
So they're going against the jet stream this time. You think so? And that's why no, but they should be
No,
on both direction. There should be a both
no.
direction, right?
Okay, now that's what I think. They're gonna use two planes because they can't. They have to fly along the jet stream. That's why the flight has to stop in South Africa because leaves Buenos Aires, has to stop in South Africa, and then because that's how it follows the jet stream.
Do they
Yeah,
So
do
but
that
that's
so
why.
okay, but
fast?
Go ahead, Vika.
so my question would be, if they are going to South Africa from Buenos Aires to South Africa, okay, from the tip of South Africa to the first tip of Antarctica is almost more than 2 or 3 thousand miles. So what are they planning then? What are they planning? They're gonna go to near Antarctica, then go up to South Africa, then go down again to Antarctica to say they crossed the Antarctica. How does it make? It makes no sense.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Now,
Funny.
my idea is just like I put out in the video. If they are really carrying passengers, like 13, 14 people, I don't know, they're gonna have to use two planes. One's gonna leave Buenos Aires, pretending to be flying directly, and the second plane is leaving South Africa, which is just like probably 12 hours from South Africa to Perth, and they will film the second plane arriving as being the first. Right?
Mm.
Once the first plane takes off, they forget about the first plane. They will focus on the second plane. That's one way they can fake it. All right. The second way is they already go ahead and film the people in Perth, like at the airport, pretending they just arrived, and then they
Yeah, that is
film
what is gonna
them
happen.
taking off.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so
yeah, they're
too. I
gonna.
think so too.
But I think they're not even gonna rent a plane. They're gonna maybe rent for a couple of hours on the tarmac. These people are boarding the plane, and the same people after are getting off the plane, and maybe some shots in the cabin, watching the windows, outside the window, or seeing their mobile, some GPS, only that shit. They're not even going to do the trip, because if they
Yeah,
are
it's a
having
movie.
if they're having Eddie, if they're having South Africa in their route, they are nowhere near Antarctica, so it doesn't make any sense about this flight. So the question becomes, they are not flying over South Pole, they are not flying near Antarctica, they're just doing a flight from Buenos Aires to Australia. That's what they are doing. That's all. And this doesn't make any
Exactly.
sense for us. There are many flights that used to exist up and down the same route, and that's what they're going to do. They're not going to disprove of anything, because if they go fly over South Pole, that is when they're going to try to debunk the flat Earth. But they are not going to even touch. Even they're not
Yeah.
even coming to 1,000 miles of Antarctica. So what is the whole situation here? No.
Yes, yes. They're gonna release a movie. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna release it. That's why the Kelsey said, wait for the video. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna release a movie and
Wait for
claim,
the video. Yeah, that's it.
yeah, and claim they flew over the South Pole. That's what they're gonna do.
So they're not even going to do it live. They're just going to release something.
Yeah, just like they did a few months ago. There was a flight supposedly going from Buenos Aires to uh, Darwin in
Yeah.
Australia. All
Okay.
right. They released a 14 seconds video. Okay. 14 seconds. Now look at this. You can fly, you can find, you go to YouTube, you find time lapse flights. You find going from Paris to Seoul. You find from going to from New York to Moscow, from Istanbul to Frankfurt. You find all sorts of time lapses. Okay, but
Exactly.
the supposed historic flight over Antarctica, there's only a 14 seconds video released. Okay,
Nice
I
job,
mean,
guys.
yeah, yes, that's how bad it gets. And but and the press, the problem is like the press says, oh, they really flew over Antarctica, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
And they'll call it evidence and proof, and
They
and
yeah,
and
themselves they themselves say that no flight no flight cannot be more than, even if they are somewhere near the coast of Antarctica, they cannot be more than 16 minutes, okay, 1 6 in that area. And if they are not identified or whatever, they're gonna just take it down. That's their own rule of FAA, about
right, right.
Antarctica. So how the hell these people are gonna get any kind of permit to even come near the border of Antarctica?
Yeah, what happened to the Antarctica Treaty, right?
Yep.
well, they have to pass the 60th parallel south. Is that what you mean? Because you're not allowed past there. That's the
Yeah,
furthest south you can go.
if you're flying over Antarctica, you have to cross that 60th parallel. There's no other way.
But that's not where you're not allowed to pass that without permits, and that's they don't just hand those permits out.
Exactly. So that's why, let's wait for this video, what this pilot has in mind, what they are planning. But also, I want to point this out here. NASA is the one that rules Antarctica. NASA rules Antarctica.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but in reality, Antarctica is from nobody. Nobody owns. You don't need a visa to go to Antarctica. Okay, you need a
Right,
permit from the country you belong. That's it.
right.
And even if they give you, they're just gonna give you somewhere near, near the border somewhere. That's it. They're
yeah.
not
But
gonna let. Yeah,
do you know the rules you have to follow to get that permit? They're insane. You
yeah,
can't
that's
bring.
right. First of all, you need loads of money, and even if you
Yeah,
you're gonna get maybe a few 100 kilometers near the coast of Antarctica. You're not gonna be near the South Pole, what they claim. So
you can't bring the provisions you need. You have to bring everything with you. You have to bring everything back. You have to go to the bathroom in a bag and bring it back with you, and all kinds of crazy stuff like that. You can't go hunting. You have to bring your food. It's crazy what you have to agree to be able to do that. Like nobody can
yeah,
really.
it's
You
just
can't do it. You can't do what they want you to do to survive there.
exactly. And the best part is they start with scaring. It's so cold, it's so dark, it's so
Right? Yeah.
and the main reason, the one of the main reason for them to say that the flight cannot operate over Antarctica is because of cold. Okay, because
Right.
of pressure fluctuation, because of temperature fluctuation. If that's happening, how the hell any flight can go if they are saying it's like that, right?
Right.
Wow, but when you fly in 39,000 feet, you know, the temperature up there is so much colder than you find in Antarctica. So, I mean, you flying
Wow.
40,000 feet above, it's much colder than the temperature in Antarctica. But, I mean, it doesn't really make sense what the rules are over Antarctica.
Exactly. So they just make it up that if there was a way to fly over the South Pole, there exists a South Pole like a globe, there would have, should have been, and would have been the flight. So really, it doesn't make any sense what these people are trying. So And the funny
Exactly.
part is that even if they pull it off like this by faking it, and people are gonna many are gonna believe it also, but the people don't realize that how can these people after so many hundreds of years, these are the first people to cross South Pole on a flight, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, people should be smart, and realize that they are faking this stuff. They will be faking this stuff. So, let's just hope that it backfires on them.
Exactly. So I'm hey Brett, welcome Brett. How are you?
Not bad about yourselves.
Excellent,
How are
great to
you,
have you
Brad?
guys. This is Brett Freeman, aeronautical engineer from Flatten the Curve documentary. So I want to say hello to the people in the chat. There's
What's up,
Fisherman
Brett?
in a
I'm late.
Box. Hey, Lon. And there
Oh,
was Intellectual Catch Up. Hello. There was DN, Jess Palmer, Brian Odell, Jonas Fig. I've already said. All right. So yeah, I don't know, Brett, if you heard us, but we were discussing the topic.
no, I was actually trying to see if compressed air would run on my car. Wasn't doing such a great job.
Did you push it?
Nah, I was changing out some.
Oh yeah.
Matter of fact, those things that the fuel, gets ignited by the spark plugs. But yeah,
And Brett, as it turns out, all engines, all internal combustion engines, they run on compressed air, but only as the result of combustion from fuel. There you go. No compressed air without combustion. There you go.
correct. You ain't getting that compressor to turn without the combustion. The compressed air is the result of the combustion chamber. You know,
Not the other way around, right?
no, never.
Exactly. That's the point.
Beautiful.
Now,
No thrust
I
without combustion. So don't ever let anybody tell you anything different.
So today I
yeah,
talk about the fact that it literally takes 39 hours to traverse what they would consider half of a hemisphere on their globe model. I mean, you know, they can't get there faster than 33 hours. I mean, some flights take 61 due to the layover locations. But is that what this is about? The flight over South
yeah,
Poles?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Good luck with that. I'm sure
yeah.
Qatar Airs would love to know how that works out.
S- So, Brett, we're talking about this guy, this pilot called Kelsey. He challenged flat earthers to hire him to fly us over the Antarctica. And then when we put up, we offer him the money, he backed away.
Yeah,
Now there's a guy
yeah,
here. He is willing to pay him like 300,000 pounds. That's like almost $400,000. Okay, and but he said he's gonna produce a video of this flight. He's not taking any flat earthers with him, but he's gonna produce a video. So we are discussing the ways they're gonna fake it. Okay, that's what we are doing because they're gonna fake it. There's no way to do it.
no, I know. That's why I said I looked when Vic and I talked last week about this show coming up. The first thing I did was look at the route they would have to take, and it seems the shortest route is to go from Buenos Aires to Brazil through GRU Airport, then on into Doha, right, which literally is on the other side of quote unquote their hemisphere, and
Right.
then on into Australia after that. Now, why would you need to do all of that if you can just go on the bottom side of your I say salad bowl, right? If you look at the Earth as two hemispheres, two halves,
Right.
just go off from the bottom of your one side of your salad bowl around the bottom and on up to the other side. Why do you literally have to take 33 hours to cross 24 time zones, a day and a half to stay on the same hemisphere? That makes
Exactly.
no sense whatsoever. Your equator is only 25,000 miles, right? And you got 24 time zones. Why are you taking 33 hours to get there if you're on the same hemisphere?
Exactly.
Period.
And they will have to cross the equator twice.
Yes. Yes, is in their model. Yes, it doesn't that makes perfect sense, doesn't
That
it?
makes
Yeah,
no sense.
exactly.
Doing
And
circles.
south to south, they should just be able to really fly over the South Pole, which it's impossible because Earth is not a ball. But now, one option, one of the company offered them was to fly from Buenos Aires to South Africa and then from South Africa to Perth. That's flying with the jet stream, but that's not flying on a ball. It's flying over the flat Earth. It just proves that the Earth is flat.
Right. You're not getting there less than 33 hours. Period. You can fly in a plane
Exactly. That's that.
now,
But
but I
that's
get
why I was asking, Brett. That's why I was asking Eddie, how much hours does it take, even if it's on a ball or in a on a flat Earth? How much time is going to take in a straight line from Australia, from Buenos Aires to Perth or Australia? And I think even 14 or even 19 hours, I think is too less. It should take more hours because it's such a huge distance.
yeah. Even if you can actually get a plane like a 777 or an AS. I want to say it's an AS 350 1000. I think that's the model. You can fly as high as 18, 19 hours. That's
Right.
fine. But how far are you going in that time frame? What's the useful load? Now, is he the only one in the airplane? And what plane is he taking? Is he going to take a little puddle jumper? He probably don't have the
No, he's
ability to borrow somebody's 777.
he's taking a Gulfstream 650 GR.
You got jokes, brother. You got jokes. Oh Jesus! This one of those compressed air guys. He thinks he's just going to be doing an in-air refuel and flying on compressed. But he ain't making it across no pond. I took a King Air 350 from Maryland, Hagerstown. We had to stop in Goose Bay. We had to stop in Iceland. We had to stop in England. We had to stop in France. We had to stop in a couple of other places before we could even get back to Iraq, which is still
Wow.
pretty much the straightest path. We're not deviating because we're trying to get our plane back to where we need it to be.
Hmm.
However, it took 6 days to do so. 6 days. Now, granted, we're only doing 2 legs a day, but that's still flying 12 hours at, a couple hundred miles an hour in a straight line. This guy is not going to be flying much faster than that. He's not going to be doing it in 13 hours, I can assure you.
I'd say
No
me
way.
also
No way.
13 hours is impossible. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It
Let me
takes
let
five from New
me ask
York to
you this.
California.
Let me ask you this. Qatar Airways has airlines that go from Buenos Aires, or they're affiliated with other airlines, like the Delta and the KLM used to made up when you would fly from Atlanta to Doha. You'd go through either Holland or Charles de Gaulle Airport in France to get to Doha. Then they had the direct flights for a while. Terminal 1, Terminal 2. Any contractor going in the war zone area at the time can tell you that. However, why is it that Qatar Airways has a 33-hour flight with 2 minimum stops in Brazil and in Doha? If you can just, like I said, go around the bottom side of your fishbowl or your salad bowl, your hemisphere, your bottom half, and just do it in 13 hours. Why are they taking a 19-hour flight from Brazil to Doha? If you can do the whole damn thing in 13 hours.
Exactly. That's right.
Yeah,
And
and that's why I
always
was also
crossing the
saying
equator 2 times.
exactly. Yeah, it's going up and down. And as we was mentioning before too, that even if they are going near South Africa, they are not on the route. They are not even they're on the route to near Antarctica, and there's a lot of distance, and we are speaking about few thousands of miles. So, okay, the other thing I wanted to say also, Brett, they say that on their ball it's 11,000 kilometers, okay, and 11,000 kilometers they're going to cover in 13 hours. That is ridiculous, okay, with the speed of the planes and the jet streams. Even if it's 11,000, it's 13 or 14 hours is a lot of time.
They're not going to get there 11,000 miles in 13 hours.
It's
To
like
the max.
1,000 miles
No,
an
we are.
hour.
50 miles
No,
an
I'm
hour.
saying
Are they breaking speed barriers
It's like
or what?
you need a Concorde.
Yeah, you're going to be breaking the speed of sound, which that plane will fall apart. They're not breaking the speed of sound with that thing. I mean, if you do the simple math, just take 11,000 miles and divide it by 13.
Yeah,
You're going to get like 833 miles an hour or some crap.
Yeah.
Well, on any good day, the speed of sound is between 637 and 643 miles an hour. You know, depending on pressure, altitude, pressure density, all that crap. It varies a little bit, but it ain't varying
not that much.
hundreds of miles an hour. Just like that guy Philip Baumgartner or whatever.
Wow,
Yeah.
Talk about breaking the sound
Red
barrier.
Bull jump.
Oh, really? Because the speed of sound is 600 something miles an hour. Free fall, or 9.8 meters per second squared, is still only about 121 miles an hour. So try again, assholes. He didn't break no sound barrier. I mean,
Was that the Red Bull jump?
Yes.
Yeah.
Free fall
No,
is only
you
about
saw
120.
they showed the flat Earth in one of the scenes there. There's a few
Oh,
things
yeah,
wrong
they
with
had
that.
the GoPro, and then even the rope
Yeah.
was bent. You know, like,
Yeah.
how does a limp rope bend like that? Come on.
No, there's a lot of things wrong in that video.
But yeah, they ain't breaking the sound barrier. They're not getting there in 13 hours.
No way.
You know, they're probably only doing 500, maybe 550. You'd be pushing 600 if you'd be cruising at 600 miles an hour in those big boys. But even in this little Challenger jet, nah, man, they're going to be refueling several times.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So one of the go ahead, Vika.
No, go ahead, Eddie.
So what we are talking about, like what I made a video about, is that they're gonna fake it. They're gonna have two airplanes at least, one taking off Buenos Aires, and then they forget about that plane, while the second plane is taking off probably South Africa and arriving in Perth, and they will claim that's one plane only. They did it in 13 hours. Okay, that's the way they're gonna fake it, or they're gonna fake the whole thing, like arriving in Perth, they filming, and they edit, and they just show people taking off, the
Yeah,
airplane
it'll be
flying,
like a
landing.
game or something. I was fooled the other day. I was actually on Facebook, and it said something about plane crash, British Airways, something else.
In
And I'm
China?
looking at these things first person perspective, and
Okay,
it looks real time, like you're in the cockpit. I'm like, man, that seems bizarre. And this thing's coming in, and it lands short. It slams into this barrier. But as the barrier got closer, I could see that it was pixelated, like computer done. And I'm just like,
right.
wow, those graphics have gotten a lot better. They're taking note, like, man, people are gonna start using like Armageddon's director to show these asteroids, and we're on the moon, and it's gonna get a lot better. So we
Right.
got to get on
Yeah.
our P's and Q's.
It's blue.
We already have packs. We
Bluebeam is
already have
coming.
packs of sci-fi packs where you can put the moon on your background in a video, like the aliens are attacking, and another Jupiter is spinning on the other side. Everything is possible right now. Anybody can do it on your. Don't need
Fun
to
fact:
be in Hollywood.
did you know Stanley Kubrick wanted aliens in the background when he was shooting the moon landing? The CIA was like, "Are you kidding us?" Beep 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 beep. They made it very clear, no, no. And I think that's one of the reasons he has subtle hints in some of his movies later, like The Shining with the Apollo 13 pad or the Apollo 11 pad.
Room
How
237.
all the room numbers, the kids wearing
The
the
kid,
Apollo T-shirt or the sweater. Yeah,
Exactly.
there's so many things
the rug
associated
on
with
the
it afterwards.
floor.
Those are all
The
Easter
Singapore
eggs.
story.
Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Well, sorry I was late, but they ain't going. They're not going. They're not staying on their half the fish bowl. The salad bowl. Their hemisphere.
Yeah,
It makes
Brett.
no sense why you'd be taking 36 hours to traverse your half, the bottom half that you keep saying you can get to.
Yeah, I looked
There's
up
the reason James Cook took 2.5 years and 63,000 miles. Right, he was losing 8 miles a day on the maps that he knew existed at the time. He was losing 8 miles. I should be here, but I'm 8 miles short. I should be here. I'm now another 8 miles short every day. because, well, Antarctica's a little bigger than they said it was.
And the arc they show Eddie, going from South America, going towards the globe below, and then again going up to Australia. It's just so ridiculous, because even on a Google map, on a Google Earth, take a measurement tool, put it from Buenos Aires to Perth, and you're going to see it just goes right above the South Pole. Okay,
Right, right.
even on their own Google Earth, but there is no, and it's the shortest, the most shortest. The curved line, even a curved line, is the most shortest, and it goes right above. So they just play tricks. They're speaking about their globe. They're showing on a Mercator or a flat map that arc route. What are they playing with? It not really makes sense.
Yeah, it's a
By
lot
the
of
way, it would be
dishonesty.
8,000 miles if you're taking a 19-hour trip, from Brazil to Doha, let alone the rest of the flights.
Yeah, I just looked up one that stops Madrid, Spain, and then Doha, and then to Perth, Australia. But Spain, Doha are both in the northern hemisphere. Where's all the northern flights that have to go south to get back into the north?
It ain't
Okay, there are
happening.
flights. Exactly, there are flights from Doha that goes all the way Turkey, all the way towards the north, and goes all the way. On a flat map it shows a straight line, but on a globe they show you the road exactly over going near Greenland and passing through North Canada and all the way into states. Okay, if those flights exist, why shouldn't there exist if this flight in south exists, right? Like how Eddie was saying.
And they still don't let you get close enough to the center north. Zero north.
No, no,
They
the closest I have
you'll fly over
seen,
Greenland and
the
you'll fly
closest
over.
I've seen is 300 miles. No, 300 miles to the north on the GPS what they were showing. Okay, so that somebody had the GPS in their hand on their mobile, and the more closest they are passing towards the north, uh, GPS north, magnetic north, or the real north, we don't know. 300 miles, and all you could see is ice there. Okay, on this route, what I'm speaking about, no, it goes from the Middle East all the way to US
Well, they
on the
tell me there's ice
northern
in the
hemisphere.
north and Santa Claus is there, but show me, because I know Greenland's cold and I know it's ice, but I think there's more to it. I think there's a little more up there. They tell us we don't go
So,
to it. It's just nothing but ice and the North Pole, so to speak. Show me.
so maybe they could have some device that's showing false center to on
Huh.
that GPS.
You can fake GPS. GPS, it can be faked. There's an app. You can download an app. You fake your location. You can fake a GPS location. You can do it.
Yeah, you can make it look like you're in Manhattan or California or just
Exactly.
anywhere. Yeah,
I can't pretend I'm in India right now.
yeah.
Well, they call the center I've seen it referenced as tree of life, and I don't mean physically a tree, but it's where the waters separate. If you look at the window symbol, you got red, yellow, blue, and green. I'm not sure which
Right.
in, but there's old maps that an old cartographer, limited to the distance, but he shows 4 areas where they come together at the center. Well,
Yeah, like on the Mount Meru, they all have, many cultures also. Yeah, the
I
four
don't know
corners that meets.
specifically where
Yeah.
that's at, but I've seen it referenced as the center. I know that we call center north. Any step in any direction south. I know Polaris is above it. I mean, as much as people don't like the guide stones in Georgia, they are a perfect example and it's literally written in stone, that we are flat and stationary. We are level. Sorry, I hate using the word flat. We are level and stationary because Polaris never moves. How in the millennia that we've been recording history have we never deviated when looking up and looking at Polaris?
They
And
say it did, but
that fact alone disproves the globe right there. There's no motion, no curve, period.
I like to say it's kind of like driving in your car and the same scenery keeps passing by every day. every day or every night, but every night it's for us the same stars. They never change position. There's
Yeah.
no parallax in them.
That would be like
each other. That's right.
you're right. That'd be like driving the car and the scenery doesn't change. It stays with us the whole time, which
Yeah,
is absurd and impossible.
it's crazy. And that one always got me when I was a space fan. I'm like, how does that happen? How does that happen? It burned me. How does that happen?
You're forever wondering, and one day you woke up and realized
Oh,
that's how it happens because it
I'm like,
doesn't
oh,
happen.
it's because it doesn't. No. Yep, it all came crashing down. It was wonderful.
Trust the science.
Yeah, trust the seance.
Yeah, and isn't that interesting? The Bible doesn't say trust me. The Bible says prove me. Literally, the Bible says prove all things. It doesn't say trust. Even Paul in the Bible doesn't say trust me. He says prove me. Prove the Bible, and there it is. The liars say trust me. The Bible even says prove me, and I will prove what I say. Powerful, isn't it?
Very.
Accept the reality with which we are presented.
Presented in the
That would be
school
the
at a
true
young
meaning.
age.
But that's not fair because they got us when we're young, and our parents were taught, and their parents were taught.
Yep.
So they have an unfair advantage. So it's, they're
Yeah.
annoying.
It's an uphill battle. But
Yeah.
I'm even getting 40-year-old aircraft mechanics that are like, we'll be talking about something completely unrelated, and they're like, man, that's intriguing. Tell me more. And I'm like, dude, if you only knew what I know. You
Yeah.
don't have a clue. He's like, teach me.
Tell them, brother.
All right.
Here's
a
what you
water
do,
bottle.
Brett.
Here we go.
Tell them straight and level, and make your hand fly straight and level, not around the curve. That should be enough for them, right?
No, I just use a
Now,
water bottle. There's
There
like
you go.
9
The
different
water
examples.
bottle ain't
Water
moving.
bottle.
Water's flat. There you go.
Rob, what do you say? Water is
also-
a motion sensor.
There you go. Water is a motion sensor. There you go.
100%.
and
Right?
and Brett being an engineer also, and you Rob also, you all know we also spoke about that, no, like the ADI proved that there is no curve, and the compass, the heading compass, proved there is no spin. That two instruments freaking destroys the globe, and you two guys
Absolutely.
can really
Absolutely.
prove that, with
And it really is that simple. The water bottle shows there's no movement. The ADI proves that the aircraft fly with their nose up, not down. And the aircraft routes,
heading compass.
time distance heading proved, the fact that the aircraft can go on direct or dead reckoning proves that there is no Coriolis. There is no spin. Correct, Vika.
What is the ADI?
Earhart coming home and explaining how she did her route, because I honestly believe with absolute certainty there was no way, just like the billionaires on board the Titanic, there was absolutely no way she was getting home.
That's correct. You're absolutely right. She was marooned. They had a crash, and the U.S. Coast Guard ignored her. The U.S. Navy ignored their calls for help, left them to die. Yes.
All I'm saying is there was no way they were going to allow her to come home and explain how she did what she did.
Amelia Earhart?
The other, because they were proven the flat Earth. Yes, they were. That flight was proving it.
Based on
all right, guys.
Right now, the route that would have been taken. Well, why didn't you just do this if it's a globe? Why didn't you go this way? It would have been a shorter distance, blah, blah, blah. Well, because I can't. It would have been impossible to do what you're talking about.
Exactly. Because that landmass does not exist where that map says it does.
Like I said, James Cook loses 8 miles every day. Not overall, but every day he would be on his map saying, I expect to be here, and now I'm 8 miles short. So now I wake up the next day. I expect to be here, and I'm 8 miles short again. All throughout.
How many days?
2.5 years.
How many days?
2.5 years.
He flew all, he
720
navigated
days.
the entire circle.
Like 900 days.
Yeah, 900
720
days.
is 2 years. 730 is 2 years.
900.
It took over almost 900 years, and then the French guy behind him did the exact same thing.
Really?
It took over 63,000 miles to traverse the bottom half of your salad bowl when the rim of your salad bowl is 25,000 miles only?
Wow.
Explain how that happened.
Yeah, exactly.
As Neil Dumas would say, it's it's an oblate spheroid. It's kind of fat and sag on the bottom. Well, at 25,000 miles, if that's the widest part of the Earth, then how does somebody explain 63,000 miles and 2.5 years later?
Right. The records prove it. And ship navigators don't lie when they're writing their calculations down. They're writing down for posterity and for records. If their ship goes down, they want their record to stay there. That was legitimate. They write down where they're at. Why would he invent something like that? In other words,
exactly. And in the end, he measured the Earth. He measured the circumference for us in a way, so for free.
So we know.
There you go. And I want to point out here, any single factor that we mentioned at any time, any single factor is enough to disprove the spinning ball globe. Any single one. And when we do these webcasts, how many factors do we mention? We mention hundreds at a time. And the sum of everything just destroys the globe concept, whereas any single factor in itself destroys it as well. But the combination is just overwhelming.
Exactly. So what
really
we're gonna do is
it should be.
we're gonna take a break and let's see what else we can add to the topic of this route. Okay, we're gonna take a break and we're gonna be right back, guys.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
There's not one authentic picture of this oblate, pear-shaped spinning ball that they claim we live on. I'm sorry to tell you, the only thing that's been to space is your imagination. There is no such thing as space. For thousands of years, all ancient civilizations knew the Earth was flat. Until 500 years ago, they took the Word of God and they turned it upside down. They said, no, we revolve around the sun. The sun's in the middle, and we're spinning through space and wobbling with the sun at over 600,000 miles per hour. When an organization of pseudoscientists tell me to go completely against what all my senses tell me, that we're stationary and flat, I see it's flat. It's immovable. And I'll go outside. When I send a camera up without GoPro or fisheye lens, when I send a balloon up 100,000 feet and it shows the horizon flat, I can't go against that. When I see skylines 60 to 100 miles away, when spherical geometry says they should be behind the curve, all this stuff isn't adding up. There's not one authentic picture of this oblate, pear-shaped spinning ball that they claim we live on. I'm sorry to tell you, the only thing that's been to space
I remember my
is your imagination. There is no such thing as space.
You guys land on the moon,
No,
which
you
was
didn't. No, you didn't.
There wasn't
What?
any television.
Because
there wasn't any television.
there wasn't anybody taking a picture. You watched animation. So you associated what you saw with...
I have very hazy memories. Well,
All right, guys, flatten the curve. I think flatten the curve has actually restored the faith of the community that yes, we are taking back the field in a way, So we are glad that it's doing that effect. Flatten the curve. Welcome back, guys. We have Rob Taylor joining us. We have Jeannie Edited. We have Eddie Allen Carr, Kevin Bobick, and Brett Freeman. We're discussing the routes, and yeah, guys, let's jump in back. Eddie.
Yep.
So
So
it looks like this. Yep. Go ahead.
now I was the way we were talking about, like they're gonna fake this flight, okay? So the one of the guys who said that the Golf 650 ER, the extended range model, can make it, right? Another one said no, it's just a twin engines, just two engines. It's not gonna make it. But supposedly, as I pointed out before, Terry Virts, the astronaut, flew around both poles with the exactly same airplane, the Gulfstream G650ER. So that's probably another fake flight as well. No, I don't know.
Like another fake one.
Well, the way he did, he flew from Florida to Kazakhstan, from Kazakhstan to Mauritius, the island on the east coast of
Yep.
Africa. From there, he
Yep.
went to Punta de something in Chile, and then from Chile back to Florida. But if you look on the globe, it doesn't go over Antarctica. The flight from Mauritius to Chile, he just comes over Africa. So he didn't really fly over the poles as they claim, and the press publicized that he flew over the both poles. He didn't. All right. So most of those flights, they say they circumnavigated from north to south. If you look closely, they don't. They don't. They didn't do that. And then when you point on the flat Earth map, then that's where it makes more sense. You understand the route on the flat Earth map better than on the globe.
Exactly, because
Well,
if you see,
it's all fake anyway.
yeah,
Everything they say is fake. So we can start there, right? We know that.
Yeah.
I didn't hear. Well, I didn't hear pretty clearly.
I just
Okay.
think this is like a desperate move on their end. You know what I mean? Like they have to go through all this trouble and all this publicity and all this propaganda just to try and make up a flight that will try and debunk our map. But
Right.
Exactly.
I think they're probably feeling the heat from Flatten the Curve, the movie. They're probably feeling the heat, and then they're trying to come up with something.
There you go.
But the elephant's already in the room.
Yep.
You'd think
This
they
is the
would
thing-
invite a few well-known flat earthers, though, in public. If they're so proud of themselves, they would invite some of us, so some of the big names, right?
Oh, I
Right.
would love to have Neil on the 50-yard line during the Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, because as you say, Eddie, because that's why, because they cannot really disprove the science what we have shown in the flatten the curve. So they're coming up with these red flags hoax. But the best part is, like, we have to ask them, hey, screw the video, show us the exact route, show us the exact timing, show us the exact stopovers, show us exact the permits, show us the fuel, show us everything.
Right.
Not just one video that you're gonna
Do it
say,
live.
we've been. Yeah, do it live. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
Just like Max Sigan, he was alive when he was flying from Santiago, Chile to Sydney. He was showing live on Google Live at that time, and so they should be able to do the same, not just presenting a video.
exactly. So, and on a plane, nowadays you have camera on every angle. Show us live of all the angles.
Yeah.
So that people can.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't really
Coordinating
accept it
with the
any other
route
way.
through the.
Every flight is planned down to every detail. It's literally that simple, very easy. They could show everything, and every pilot will show everything. Actually it's a matter of public record. However, the fact that they won't show it is no different than turning around the Hubble telescope and looking at the Earth and showing the people in Australia walking upside down. It's
Right.
it's the same thing. They'll never do it because they can't. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Well, they lost
Like
that technology.
yeah, he lost it. Yeah.
It's too hard to
Now,
build it back.
It's a painful process to bring it back.
now if I take a city bus here, if I take a city bus, there are at least like 3 cameras filming inside and outside. If I go to the takeout
Wow.
store here next to my house, there are like 8 cameras showing all around and inside and out. But they show
Very
a
good.
flight
Yeah.
going from Buenos Aires to Darwin, and they just released a 14 seconds video. You know?
That's
10-hour
hysterical.
flight, and they submit a 14-second video. What liars?
Yes.
What
Yeah.
liars?
I mean, it's incredible, man.
Yeah, because I remember, Eddie, I remember when these guys were doing a couple of years back, these guys were planning to do this and they were like, yeah, we're going to do this. And they were so much hyped up, to do this. They wanted to do this couple of years back also. And I read somebody from Antarctica saying, some scientists like, oh yeah, I'm here in Antarctica. I would confirm that this plane passed over, all this crap they were speaking
Yeah,
about, but
our
nothing.
actors, they are all members of secret societies. So
Yeah.
they're liars by profession.
And those guys.
You just said it. You nailed
you-
it, Eddie. Right there. They're liars by
Yeah.
profession. Like
Yeah.
the Medes. The Medes.
Exactly.
Some of the ones you meet though, they'll say, "Oh, I'm in that group," and they don't take into consideration that there's a hierarchy in there, and they don't all know everything that the other guys know, and they're not going to always tell you everything because they're not allowed. They're protecting their status. So it's kind of like, does a stewardess know how to fly a plane? Well, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah, they don't all know all the things.
It's
Right.
compartmented. That's the word. Compartmented.
Right. Yeah, need to know.
Yep.
So that's fact. So there are people.
So yeah,
walking around
it's
the street.
it's time, Eddie, to even question again Kelsey. Like what are you showing us fake videos? Oh, sorry for the word. Go and debunk the instruments. Go and debunk what we are trying to show. Go and debunk the radars you are using. Go and debunk all the GPS you are using there. With your triangulation with the towers. Go and debunk. That's real science you need to debunk, not by putting a video of some people that we did a route that going to be not even near by few thousand miles from there, what they are planning to do. So it's all really irrelevant. Irrelevant. What are they trying to show? They want people to look somewhere else. So
When does it come out? Is there a date that's supposed to release it?
Well, the flight was supposed to take place. It is supposed to take place April 8th, and then there is another date, like it's April the 20th. So let's just wait now.
I mean, they keep
So
saying
they got
new rings on Uranus, and they keep finding these distant, locations via
Aurora
style, and a new
Borealis
galaxy, and a
and
new
Jupiter.
star, and I mean, they have to keep perpetuating the lie. Just like in every movie, they'll reference some star. We were watching some random movie the other night, and they're referencing some galaxy and how big the stars are at night, just to reiterate to the fucking crowd, to the fans, to the audience, as to where they live and what's going on, and it's just constant reiteration. Global life insurance commercials. I mean, come on.
All the
Right.
candy bars, Mars, Milky Way,
Yeah.
all that's everything. So
Yeah.
we're being pummeled.
Right. Yep.
So literally, they're not going anywhere with this. So only these questions, like what are you gonna do in Africa? Is gonna all these kind of questions, is gonna just make them. That's how obsolete is their attempt, So
Have them show
and
us
we have so many.
for the
Yep. Go ahead,
fuel.
Brett.
have him show us a receipt for the fuel from the fuel services when he does it with his name and that Challenger on that day. I'm sure he can fabricate it. You know, I mean, we're all pretty good doing that shit sometimes, but have him show us his route.
Yeah, the
Exactly.
flight
I was saying,
plan. I would like to see the flight
yeah,
plan before.
Yeah, because
yeah,
clearly he
and
won't be under like some like we were. We had several different numbers depending on what actions we were taking. If he's doing this commercially, which he would be, or as a civilian, you should clearly be able to see exactly where he is.
Right.
Right? Who's funding this guy?
We don't know. He's not telling us. He's not telling
Oh,
anything.
bullshit. BS, man. It's bullshit. It's BS.
Yeah,
yeah,
Hollywood
it's a
probably.
publicity stunt, brother. Yeah, it's a publicity stunt, and no, and many is gonna fall, even if it's just a normal flight. Maybe it's not even gonna won't be a flight in reality.
He's
Yeah,
getting
it's
a
a
check
virtual
ride on a
flight.
Cessna, 180 or something. A check ride.
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Let's
sucks
see
we have
what
to
goes up
entertain.
with this.
It sucks we have to entertain that stuff.
Here he say there, Abder Rahman Aviation says there's a flight route between Buenos Aires and Cape Town. Fact, but for military aircraft.
And I can
All right.
promise you they land somewhere else in between. You know, I can assure you they land somewhere first to refuel.
Yeah, they stopping. Let me see here. I have the flat Earth map here with me. So they're probably stopping actually in Africa, North Africa, before heading to South Africa.
Anywhere
That's
from Jordan to Germany to there's not Turkmenistan. It's Manus. I can't remember what.
but they can also stop in Sierra Leone or like in Cape Green Cape Verde, Capo Verde,
Well, they got Manda Bay right there. They've got Djibouti.
right?
Yeah, they got several places they could go.
Yep.
And even if they go just mid of Africa, why would they come down to South Africa? They can just cross over and continue in a straight line, So
Exactly. Yep.
because once you pass the part of Africa, you are already in the Indian Ocean or Arabian Sea, Indian Ocean, very near. So it's more in a straight line.
Yep.
Rob, Brett, Eddie, the ADI
Yep.
is going to be upside down the whole time, though, right?
Indeed, it will be. You'll be right side up, yet it's upside down. But when you land, it's right side up. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know. This. I don't know. Like I actually took part of a show like this in Brazil, and some Globies in Brazil, they truly believe they are upside down. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's like, come on. I flew, like Rio to New York so many times, and I mean, you just take off, you fly level and land in New York City, and that's how it is. Outplaying, just like Brett said in the movie, the beaches in France and in Brazil and New York City, they're all level. They're all the same level. But these people, I don't know, man, what they have in mind.
Yeah, they're the same height for sure. Yeah, I mean, no matter how slow, your body will tell you when you are upside down. And that is why that little blonde lady that pretends to be in NASA on the ISS, her veins and shit are screaming in her neck.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
she's being harnessed, right?
Exactly.
And even the guys.
Zero gravity.
And the hairspray.
Heart palpitations and throwing signs and shit and sign language and Morse code in your veins and your neck because you're straining to, try to get some fake point across, while harnessed. Your body would know upside down and right side up.
But let me ask you something, Brett. maybe you or Rob could hit on the vestibular system and how it would affect these guys, and how it seems like it would be impossible to do what they're doing with the vestibular system. Is that right?
Are you talking about what with the IS people?
Well, yeah.
Oh man, that's a whole
How
nother
is it
show,
not
brother.
how does
That's a
what?
whole nother show.
Right? Doesn't it? The vestibular system just kind of it ruins the whole story, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does it not? I mean, look at any particular thing that they've done. Any one thing. The
That's
guy's
how you
like, "Oh,
stand
look at
up straight.
hardware," and it falls. Dunk.
Yeah, right. The
It
nut
would
that
know
falls on
right
the
side up,
ground.
right? It would go in no direction at all.
Right. It would
So
just
for
sit
5
there.
seconds, when you're in that aircraft, it goes up and then comes down and then goes up. For 5
Right.
seconds, you're in a free fall.
The vomit
With
comet.
the airplane. So you feel zero, right? Because you're going the same speed as the airplane itself.
Okay.
I mean, how do they get away with that shit on the ISS outside of the quote unquote aircraft? Moving
Yeah.
at 15,000
you
miles an hour, which, mind you, you should be seeing circumnavigate you every hour and a half.
right?
Every hour and a half, you should see that thing coming by. We should constantly be seeing it. Did it take a day off? Did they turn it off and they're gonna start it back up later? I don't know. You know.
No, I used to subscribe to what they call Spot the Station, and they email you when it's
yeah, is that the NORAD station next to Spot Santa Claus?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
and it's only like every 2 or 3 weeks it passes over your house.
Wow,
So
isn't that weird? It must be going.
Where does it go?
Really slow.
Even if it's
Right.
traveling
And
like
they're supposedly spinning 17,000 miles an hour, and it takes 3 weeks to come back again. Hold on a second.
something like
Like
2 or 3
everything
weeks,
else,
yeah.
it does not compute.
Right. Well, no. What I'm saying is, if you want to check that out for yourself, anyone in the audience can go to Spot the Station and you see how infrequently you really
And
see
when
it.
questioned, they turn your comments off, and then keep the little 8th grader. Wow, I want to be what you're doing when I grow up.
Yeah, exactly
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fool the children. Fool the children. That's their mantra.
That's really what it's about. And
I
that's
like
what
that.
Can't
I like
fool
really
the adults
aggravates
anymore.
me.
Buzz though. How come you don't think we've ever gone back? Well, that's not an 8-year-old question, is it? Well,
Right.
Yeah.
question
Yeah.
nonetheless.
Man, how many
5 years
tech
old.
Time.
how many tech these people already have to have something airborne for weeks? How many techs they have? So they could fly any crap every few hours just to people who are following it on the app or looking for ISS. Anything could just fly with a light bulb and people will be like, it's ISS.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You know,
Yeah,
it's
we
so
got some
easy.
over
It's
when I
so
was getting
easy.
negative.
If you look at the size of the ISS, it's 2 football fields compared to a 747, and the distance of a 747 is 8 miles, and the ISS is 200 or something. You should not be able to see it, right? Is that right?
Right, but you can't see the football fields from the little airplane you're in at 30,000 feet, which is only 5 miles.
Right, exactly.
You know,
exactly
5
what I'm
miles up,
saying.
you can't even see it. You can't
you
even
can't
see a goddamn national park, let alone a football field. But the
And
ISS is actually only like 300 feet. Not
Oh,
2 football fields, but like
it's-
1. Yeah, it fits inside of a stadium. And of course, it looks to have
okay.
changed over the years because they keep changing the design of it to reflect aircraft that might be similar in design when flying, you know, over your head. And you actually do get a peek at an airplane flying over. Oh, look at that. This must be the ISS because it's got drop tanks over my head. You know, you catch an aircraft flying over that resembles it, like a U-2 or whatever the hell it is. It ain't no ISS.
But imagine 400 kilometers altitude. That's too much height and to be visible. Okay, we see the jet at 10 kilometers high altitude, and we see how small we see it at 400 kilometers. That's just insane.
But just remember, they expect to see China from where they're sitting if it's level because they can't comprehend. You can still only see so far.
Yeah.
You know, you can show them a lighter at your end of the table and a lighter at the far end of the table, 10 feet away, and they still can't fathom the fact that that table's not curving away because the lighter's not the same size.
Yeah.
I don't know how they got it through like 3rd grade art class, but
It's just how you say it. You leave a few things out and keep going. You know what it is? You got to pass all those classes, so you don't have too much time to really delve into the questions. And some of the, sometimes a kid can't ask the serious questions.
No, but when you're 35 years old, I mean,
well, it's
tasting water in your cup, or is it contained?
That's a different story.
If you uncontain the water, it tends to run a little bit. And then when you try to explain why it's running, because it's not contained, it's not level, it hasn't sought its lowest point. It just goes on and on. It's annoying.
It gets problematic because that's all real science, and they don't know, or they won't address it.
They weren't taught it.
Yes, most people don't understand it, and even if they do, the liars will never touch it. Right? They'll never talk on real science level.
Here's something also about the ISS is that most of the times I only saw it at night, and it seems pretty lit up. Do they have such bright lights on that thing inside there? Or they have lights on the outside? I don't know.
Well, I got several questions for you. Why is everything they have to do on the outside of the craft?
Yeah.
I don't see anybody working on airplanes on the
inside.
outside of it. All of their technology and all the things they're doing are on the inside. The reason they're on the outside with their little GoPro is so they can literally make you think that they're on the outside of the ISS working on it. Because if they were just simply in some building doing wires all the time, you could say, well, they're on the inside of some building in Hollywood. Well, they still are, but look, there's a globe behind us.
And the guy with the camera never took one selfie and doesn't point to the Earth 6 feet off the camera.
Never once has he pointed it behind him. You know what? Let's end the debate. Turn the camera around and forever make every flat earther a glober once again. Turn the camera 180 degrees.
Not even for us, but for them. Come on, you're in space, so you don't want to show the Earth? What's the matter with you?
And the best part is from a cruising altitude at 45,000 feet, you don't see a curvature, okay? But at 400 kilometers altitude, you see the curvature. Okay, so what exact height does the Earth start curvature? Only that figure. If somebody can give us that figure,
I can give it to you. Robert
666 miles.
And he said you have to be high as hell to see that curve.
No, but they are seeing at 400 kilometers from ISS. But from the cruising altitude, we can't see the. So what is that exact altitude?
Wait. Hold on a second.
Felix Baumgartner fell out of his little chute thing. He even said you can't see the curvature from even his height because you're. But
Neil deGrasse Tyson said he can't see it from 2 millimeters above this beach ball.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that's
he was
the
talking
video.
about the ISS.
Yeah,
right?
he was talking about the guy free falling or whatever.
Boats go over the curve at sea level, though, right?
Right, 3 miles, 4 or 5 miles away. Well, 3 miles is all you can see.
I don't know. My periscope's got that ionospheric bend to it. It's just seeing the future. It's just going around that curve.
What a joke.
Yeah, they should actually show us. Yeah, go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, answer to your question, Vika. When does the curve appear? They're saying that they can see it at 400 miles at the ISS non-station, but we can't see it from an airplane. Well, you're right. Where does it appear? It should gradually appear over time. Obviously, that's the magic, Vika. Just trust us. It's there. You just don't see it, right? You just have to get there and you'll see it.
Right, Rob, but there should exist a point that change should happen, right? Or no?
Oh yeah, I'm agreeing with you completely. In reality,
exactly.
Yes. But their hocus pocus is just trust us. It's there. Don't ask the hard questions. That's their point, right? Just believe us.
Sure is.
Right. And if we look at the world societies, the world culture. The word belief has been the downfall of philosophy. Philosophy, we should never believe anything. If we follow true philosophy, we should seek the proof of all things. We should never trust anybody. We should seek to prove things. It's better to know than to believe. And in this day and age especially, it's easier to know now than any time in all of world history. We should not believe anything.
What's in the middle of believe? That word lie is
Lie.
right there.
There you go. Be lie.
Conveniently placed.
They be lie to us.
I don't believe it.
And that goes for anybody.
You know, so
My
sometimes
boy's
it's
3
not as
years
much
old.
as
I'm going to raise
finding.
him with that mantra. My boy's 3 years old. I will raise him not to trust anybody. I will tell him, don't even trust me, his father, because I will prove everything I tell him.
Nice.
Good dad there.
Voila. Thank you.
And you know, sometimes you don't always find the truth, but it's a matter of eliminating the lies. That's sometimes more important. So you need to know yourself, and you need to know your enemy, right?
Yep.
That's why I follow these guys still. I don't enjoy it, but I do like to see what they're talking about.
Well said, Gene.
Thank
The
you very
search
much.
for truth, the other side of the search for truth is eliminating fallacy. The more
Yeah.
fallacy we eliminate, we're only left with truth.
Right.
And that allows us to find truth even more, because when we eliminate the fallacy, we only have a few options in front of us. It really
That's it,
eliminates
brother.
our variables.
Very good.
Makes things a
Yeah.
lot more clear. And that's all about critical thinking. Critical thinking, eliminate the fallacy and go with the truth. Soon enough, it gets us to the center of truth, which is Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is all
Lord.
truth. And when we follow truth, eliminate fallacy, there's only stands Jesus Christ and the gospel of Jesus
I
Christ
love it.
and the creation. There you go.
Amen.
That's beautiful.
Voila.
Very nice. So true, though.
Yeah, to say something on that, look at all the math that they have to have for their shit to work.
Exactly.
You know,
A big chalkboard, right? Here's the proof of
and
heliocentrism. It's like 14 chalkboards stacked up on each other.
the 8 inches per mile squared and all this other bullshit. You know, granted, I talked about it last week, but you know, when gravity truly fell off my shoulders, once I realized that it's bullshit to begin with, so did all of that math. So did all that faux science. You know, I mean, anvils and mercury.
It all just went away.
All day.
They created
And by the way,
E equals MC squared to confuse us and to ignore the 8 inches per mile square. That was that whole, and then
yes,
that's why they did that. Do you know anybody that can apply E equals MC squared to real life?
exactly.
But everybody knows it. Everybody knows that equation. Nobody has any idea what
All
it
day
is.
Well, actually, they say that's the origin of nuclear bombs. Nuclear energy equals MC squared. But we're wondering, how does that happen? Show it to us. Show it to us how that works. They never will. Nuclear bombs are as fake as Santa Claus and the globe too.
Yeah.
Well, the equator calculator does pan out, but it's on a pie dish, not on a sphere. The math.
There you go.
Same,
Absolutely.
That works, but you can't apply it.
I want to, if you don't mind, I want to go to all the calculations, Brett, that you mentioned. I graduated. I studied physics at West Point Military Academy. So if anybody knows the equations, I've seen them, and I remember taking the test. I calculated using the equations. I calculated that due to the moon's radius and size and whatever else. I got that question right, and I ended up with 1/6. The moon gravity so called is 1/6 that of the Earth. But I want to point this out. Here's my conclusion here. All of that math, Brett, and for everybody else, all of the heliocentric math and all that garbage astrophysics, everything, it's all based on one calculation. It's 9.8 meters per second squared. It all comes down to that, and everything else is a circular reference back to that and the units thereof. That's all it is. So when we disprove that, which we can 14 different ways, it all goes away. All their math just disappears like dust in the wind. There it is.
But the best part, Rob, the best part is that the Cavendish experiment, when they did in their time with those weights and everything, now they try to do it with more precise instrument, and they're saying it doesn't freaking exist.
And they still can't do it.
But wait,
it's the same shit with more precise
with
instruments. Still the same shit, right?
Exactly.
Heading to center, you're heading north.
But didn't he do that experiment? Look,
you're heading south.
Yeah, it's more It's more dazed and confused, but it's still the same stuff, right? It might be shinier and prettier with shinier rims, right? And nice new chrome on
and
everything, but still it's the same
and
stuff.
and that the same goes for the gyros, because what's happening with the ADIs and the gyros, even in the planes or in the ships, what it's doing, it's showing precise measurements of that the earth is not moving, and it's level, so what is the ring laser gyro and the fiber optic gyro is doing is saying on a nano level, on a more nano level, is saying that it's doing the same thing, is more precise, that the earth is not moving. You get what I'm saying? Difference between the mechanical
Yeah,
gyros and
exactly.
the
On a linear trajectory, absolutely.
What you're saying
Sure.
is the more precise instruments are making it more precise that
Right.
the Earth is
Right.
motionless. More precise measurements that it ain't moving and it ain't curving.
Still not moving.
As that, like the water bottle, there it is. Back to the water bottle. Back to the biological motion sensors in our ears. We have two of them, and they're both perfectly calibrated. They both read the same. They're called the inner ear. It tells us we ain't moving. Because I tell everybody this. I tell everybody that I ask them, can you feel any motion right now? You're standing or sitting right there. You know what it means to stand up and turn circles. We know what that feels like. So when we're standing still or if we're sitting down in a chair, we know we are not moving. Period. Simple as that. Then we look at that water bottle or glass of water on a table. It's not moving either. There you go. There's three references, two inner ear references, and the water bottle on the table. No motion, no curve. There we go. Simple as that. End of story.
But
exactly.
they will.
Go ahead, Jeannie.
Well, I was just going to say, well, they'll defend it with that it spins too slowly, and that we're just used to it, and all that nonsense.
1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Nobody walking the earth except the fast airplane pilots. Nobody has ever traveled faster than 500 miles an hour. Nobody's gone 700 miles an hour, let alone 1,000 miles an hour. So there you go, Gene. Just remind them that the equator has to rotate 1,040 miles per hour
It's faster
to
than
get
the
back
speed of
around
sound.
in 24 hours.
No, it doesn't.
There you go.
It doesn't make sense.
It's one big pack of lies. Pack
And
of lies
it travels
false ignorance. There you go.
Yeah, and it speeds up and slows down in an elliptical orbit too, right? How does it do that?
Exactly. Good point.
How?
It's because the Earth is in their model. The Earth has a 23.4, meaning 66.6 degree tilt to it.
Off 90, right?
Yeah, we should feel a sloshing motion, a wobbling motion. Where is it?
Right. The oceans feel it. The oceans feel the tug, right? Well, nothing else does.
Yeah, twice a day. You mean?
Right.
Right. Exactly. Whatever.
Twice a day. What?
Yep.
The tides. You talk about the tides.
The moon comes around
right.
once. Tides happen twice. Yeah. But I saw a picture the other day with the tilt, and it showed where this particular part of the northern hemisphere, pretty much where the aurora borealis gases are, the noble gases, right, collecting over our half dome firmament. But it showed where it gets a lot of sunlight, and then 15 hours of sunlight just below that, and then there's an area where it gets 12 hours of sunlight, and then like near Antarctica it gets very little light. Could it be Mom's mobile only has so much battery life as far as strength when it comes to the light above us, and it's more towards the center of that mobile? All the little zoo animals are still flying around night after night, year after year. We call those constellations. But the light in the middle, and then throughout the day, your sun's on that little circuit over center, which gets a little bit wider towards the latter part of the year, which is why they have summer down there. And I say away from center, while it gets a little colder, and we call that winter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's no mystery, guys. I mean, I'm looking at the Globies here when I say it. The reason these guys get 12 hours and these guys get less and less and less further away from that very top part is because if you lay it flat, that's where the action happens. That's where all the fun is. It's in the center. You know, yeah.
Are you saying that when we get flat, that's when the action happens?
Yeah, hi, Rob.
No,
No,
because
let's say
there are
God.
part of the world, that you could literally feel the difference of the winter and the summer and the less hours of the day. But there are part of the world that you don't see nothing. It's just 12-hour days, 12-hour night, and then you have parts over the north where you have that, more light, and in the south less light. So there are places and there are differences, and that could be the reason. And as how they say that's happening on a globe, it's not working. It's happening on the flat earth. And there are people, even I have some people who contact me about the light, what's happening in the north when it's in the summer, and how it's happening. So it's crazy.
Yeah, it just happens to be a little further away and lower from center during the winter months. And then more towards the summer, it's a little bit higher from in elevation, so to speak, and it's closer to center. Or
Right.
the
Exactly.
Cancer, if you it's closer to the Tropic of Cancer in our summer and higher up. And then it's further away from the Tropic of Cancer, going towards the Tropic of Capricorn in a wider quote unquote orbit during our winter, their summer below the equator, so to speak, further away from center.
Exactly, because, for example, I watch the sun almost all the year. I live off grid. My house is oriented to the south to catch the sun. Okay, so in winter I see the sun from the east to the west at the furthest point and few hours, and in the summer it's right above my head. So you can really literally I follow the sun the whole year. And you can see the differences of time and the light. And when it's in the summer, when it's right up on your head during the Capricorn in the summer, it's almost coming out from the northeast to the north, setting in northwest. So, and between the solstice and the equinox, it's right. You can literally follow it the whole year. And what happens is, and when I am like where I am in Spain, in the winter it's just at the furthest point and at the lowest point it is, and the lights of hours. And here they also have this mess about adding and separating this hour. It's just to make the people more confused because of the less timing of the sun and the more timing in the winter and the summer.
Yeah, I know New
Go ahead,
York
anybody
is
want to say?
a huge difference in the summer and winter where the sun is setting. It's tremendous difference.
There you go. And it's all about the analemma. The sun has as we know, the analemma has a tighter circle towards around the North Pole in the summertime for the northern hemisphere, and a wider path
Like a figure
during the
eight.
summertime for the southern hemisphere. There you go. We all
And you
know it.
can observe that anywhere on the plane.
Yeah, it's all there. Yep.
Exactly. And another interesting. Okay, I just want to give a shout out to Bob Norrell. He's in the chat. Hey Bob, if you want to join us, let us know. RTS update. Also, it's saying restreaming live on RTS with 8.7 thousand views, 2,000 likes for the support. Support because Raziv, Eddie, Jeannie, Kevin, Rob, and on their RTS channels. Yes, guys, do check out RTS. Check us out on RTS. We have a whole section for Flatten the Curve and for Vikas Raziv and all the things related to Flat Earth. So a big hello to 84. Is in the chat. It says about Ryan Zem. Okay, could you add to that? Yep. Okay, where were we? Sorry, guys. We were speaking. Okay, yeah. What I wanted to add was about the moon. Okay, I don't know if you guys have really noticed it. when the moon rises in the east, you have like whatever is the image of the moon, it's like, or if it's like, if you see like a rabbit, you see that the down part is to the horizon, that the thing is have the black design on that. It's to touching to the horizon. But once it's in 90-degree up, what I mean to say that when it's on the other part, when it's setting, you literally see the other side down and the other side up. You understand what I'm trying to say? Does anyone notice that?
Yes. So if you took the sticker mom and you put it as far away from you on the ceiling as you could, you would read mom. But as it came over your head and went the other direction, it would read wow.
That's right.
Right.
Which is
Something like
also
that.
how
Right. That's what
Exactly.
I mean.
That's
people
that's
seeing
what
the
I
moon
want to try.
overhead
Yeah,
at center
exactly.
at the exact same time from two different places, i.e., hemispheres, whatever you want to call it. If you put it in the center of the room and two people go to opposite ends, one's going to read mom and the other's going to read wow.
Because of your
So,
perspective,
the whole
right?
argument, well, why? How do you see it upside down from me? Well, because we're both looking underneath the same object in the night sky from two different places, genius. It just happens to be between us. It's over our
So,
head in a very local spot.
so then, Brett, how do we all see the same eclipse then?
How do you mean?
Everybody gets the same eclipses.
So are
So
we
that's
to believe
there's
that
something wrong with the
it
eclipse.
actually the little thing called the sun and the moon, literally the perfect size moon gets right in front of that sun. The sun's 400 times further away, but the moon's 400 times smaller, so it just perfectly eclipses us in that
Well,
moment.
well, that's what happens in accidents,
I don't know. I think there's more to it. The fact that it's not a spherical eclipse, like you don't see
Right.
like a bowling ball with a flashlight getting shined on it. You see a pie shaped flat, almost like a clock cover going over it. It's quite a strange thing. The eclipse is something that
Well, we shouldn't be
still
able to
marvel
see
at.
this.
I've seen a video or two on YouTube that explained it very well. I just can't remember the name of the guy that did it, but it was like 3 years ago, and I know he's an artist professionally. But yeah, he did a very good video on it. But it's nothing. It's not
No, but
covering the sun up.
my point is that since we do see the moon differently, like the mom and the wow, we should also see the eclipse differently, but we don't.
Very true. Yeah, you see it one side come from left to right. I'm seeing.
Yeah, we all see the
Well,
same eclipse, so that's the problem right there.
I mean, I guess you see it from 90 degrees difference if you're 90 degrees away from me below.
Right. If you were 10 feet away, I was under it, and Rob was 10 feet on the other side, we should all see it differently. But in the way we look at the eclipse now, we all see the eclipses the same way. But we shouldn't.
This is true.
So that kind of adds to our fight here. Because if it was a ball, then we will, like the moon, we see the moon differently, but the eclipses are not different.
It's a great point.
I'm not sure what to make of that, but that's a problem for them.
Yeah, I always see the moon and the sun. Like where I'm at, I see the sun chasing the moon some days, half the month. But
Right.
the ability for the sun to catch the moon, yet the phase doesn't change throughout the day. So when I see that,
Right, there's no terminator line.
It's
Well,
not
the terminator line never
to reflect,
changes.
the sun chasing it, to where I'm seeing less of the moon because it's now, being chased by the sun, and it's more of an angle where it's between me and the sun. It's still 3/4 waning moon. I'm like, what how is this possible?
Right.
Of course, anybody I'm around, I'm asking it aloud and kind of snickering, like, nothing as it seems.
Right. And the full moon always rises at sunset, in case you didn't know. It does over here in the Northeast United States. I'm not sure. Eddie, how about you? Do you happen to know whether or not the full moon rises at sunset in Japan?
I can't really tell you, I mean, when I got
Curious.
my P900 a couple years ago, I used to film all that stuff, but recently I have not even touched my P900, haven't looked much, because I normally teach in the afternoons when the moon is rising or the sun is setting, so it's hard for me to pay attention to that.
Okay. How about you,
Yeah.
Fika? Do you get that?
Sorry.
I was just wondering if you get the same thing we do in the United States, where the full moon always rises at sunset. Timing is perfect.
Yep, I see huge, and it when it's rise, like
It's
sometime,
at sunset, right?
yeah, at sunset, yeah, more or
Okay.
less, So
Okay. I was just curious. Now I like to figure these things out from across where we are because little differences could mean a lot,
Yeah.
right? Like,
oh yeah, because we are right now in 3 4 different time zones, and different
yeah,
countries. So yeah,
Yep. Very interesting.
we wanted to
uh,
do. We should sometime maybe do some experiment that could, there's by being so many different places and
yeah. If we could see the moon right now, it would be great. We got to try and plan something like that. We got plenty of countries here right now, plenty of
Right.
places. I happen to have a
yeah,
lot
and
of
many.
cloud coverage. I can't see anything right now personally, but we'll talk about that after the show, right, Vika?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, we can
Too many.
organize, but that's why we have the groups, exactly for that reason, that we could do, if people are really serious, we could do, because we have people all over the world,
Yeah,
all over the plane,
yeah.
Right.
That would be
and
great if we
we can literally,
hook that up.
yeah, we can literally even, like, work with the time zones and make sure exactly where the sun is, and everything, the moon is, and come up with. And as I said, there are so many other things we could also do, like, the line of sights, go, look your local area for line of sights, so.
Just do me a favor and don't do tests over land. If you're gonna do laser and gimbal, the problem with doing something over land is that land can be not neglect. It can be manipulated. You can grade with a tractor land and say, "Oh, look, it's flat or it's level." Water don't lie. You cannot manipulate water. Granted, you can use harmonics. I'm talking about straight up water. Get in a boat, go out 3 miles, and have a reflective mirror, and have somebody at the shore take a laser and aim it towards where they see your boat, and I'm sure they're going to see that laser bouncing back. On land, you can do the same thing, but you can't manipulate that water. You can go out 4 miles, 5 miles, get a laser that's powerful enough, and I know they're out there. You can do it shore to shore, like Pensacola to Navarre or whatever. You can see some of those buildings that far away.
Well,
How
somebody paid
about
for.
known geographical locations,
Well, I mean, Lake
which,
Pontchartrain, 5 miles.
You can see Manhattan from Bear Mountain, which is 50 miles away.
Right, and this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. But doing a
Yeah,
test I can see this far away. Well, the elevation is X and Y, or I had a hard time. People were doing tests over land with lasers and shit, but you can take a tractor and make it flat and level. You can make it whatever you want, but water, you can't do that. You can't make it whatever you want.
but it doesn't really matter what the land looks like as long as the laser is above the land, right?
Yeah, but
If you
when
put
you're
it on a 20-foot pole to another 30-foot pole,
well,
and
then
they
somebody's going to say, "Why are you doing it 20 feet and 30 feet away?"
no, I mean high and 10 miles away.
Well, why
But
would it need to be 6
to,
feet
to
if it's
to
if,
go because the contour of the land. But
well,
like you said, the water's flat, yeah. But I'm just trying to beat the land by going above it. That's all.
yeah, if you have two poles that the elevation is supposed to be the same, two poles at 30 feet high, you should be able to see it clearly.
Yeah.
Obviously no land in between, even at 10 miles. Where's your
Right.
of curvature?
Yeah.
But that was my point. Is a glober can turn around and say, well, you level the land with a tractor first.
Okay. I leveled the water with a boat first too.
You remove the land. Yeah, with water, there's no argument. And that's what I was getting at. Is people are saying, hey, you manipulate.
Right.
Okay, well, I'll do it over water. I mean, we've seen it at the Great Salt Lake. I think there was a guy that did a laser test, or not a laser, but just a light. Can you see the mirror from the
Right.
river? The lady had the mirror like 12 inches off the water, and there it is.
Yep.
Well, you kind of have a valid argument there.
Well, look at the Mediterranean and the Red Sea connected by the Suez Canal. The Suez Canal has 0 locks, which makes it level, effectively. And the Mediterranean is flat, and so is the Red Sea. That's 3,400 miles right there. That's over 10% of
And
the
I
ball.
and I have an image from a flight
That's right.
that I
A
shared
great
in the
one.
HelioPsychosis group. Yeah,
That's
and you
on
can
your
see the
really
whole
check that out.
Sorry.
That's
No,
a
I
really
was telling the audience to check out the YouTube of that. It's like a 3-minute video. You see the whole thing. It's beautiful.
Exactly. It's like above Red Sea, and you can see the Suez Canal, and you can see the Mediterranean
Yep.
right there.
So, like, how many areas of flat like that do you need to make a ball? All of them, right?
Right.
Yeah. And when does it curve? Where? Oceans.
Far side of that. Far side.
Yeah. And everybody, we see the globe with everything north on the top. That's by design, because they want to make those countries stronger. And when you think someone's on top, you assimilate that with strength.
Have you noticed how England's always in the middle? Alaska and Russia couldn't be further apart, and Africa is almost the same size as Europe.
Right.
That is very
psychological warfare.
Europe is the size of Africa. They're
That Mercator
30 to 1.
projection is crackerjack material. Mercator.
The prize in the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly that. And remember the globe, it says not for educational or navigational purposes, for decoration only. That the globe is the Mercator projection. There you go. For decoration only. And that's why James Cook, Brett, you keep talking about, he's 8 miles or more short every day. His navigation is 8 miles short at least every day. It's because he was using the Mercator projection. It's complete garbage. Now, that reminds me, I'm just going to throw this out for everybody. When navigators were sailing the southwestern coast of Africa, they kept running into the land, and they should not have, because the map was incorrect. They were literally grounding their ships because they were too close to the land. They should have been further out in the Atlantic Ocean, because the Mercator projection is so damn wrong, and hundreds of ships have been lost because of it. And the powers that be, the Luciferians, they don't care, because they're not going to give up their false Mercator globe projection map. There you go.
They don't care.
Yeah, lives lost doesn't matter to them.
It's good that you brought it up, Rob, because even in a flat Earth map, if we projection like the distances, the far beyond the north, we are going towards the south. Everything going south, apart from the equator, is getting distorted. Okay, even on a flat Earth map. Okay, so the distances in the south are not correct, even on a flat Earth map. So it's very easy to hoax and fake the distances, the timing, the hours, the wind speed, everything.
Good
Eddie,
point.
that also should be taken into the account.
Yes. Don't trust anything. Prove all things. That's what the Bible says. Prove all things, especially when you're navigating a craft that depends on your navigation, such as a sailing ship or an aircraft. Don't trust anything. Trust what you could see and what you could prove.
Exactly. And due to geomatics, okay, Eddie, go ahead.
Now, I want to add something here. A few years ago, there's a Korean social media, whatever. She's got like hundreds of thousands of subscribers on her YouTube. And she was talking about difference between Japan and Korea. and she made a lot of noise because she said that on a clear day from Korea, she said that's what she said. On a clear day, we can see Japan from Korea, and that's a 500 miles distance. Okay, so I'm not
Wow.
on that east coast of Japan. I wish I were. I'm on the west coast of Japan. If I were on the east coast of Japan, I would try to see if we could contact a flat earther in Korea, and we would try to
Yeah.
do something,
Mm.
to try to use mirrors or something and try to, like reach each other because it's 500
Smoke
miles.
signals.
Yeah,
Smoke
yeah,
signals.
smoke
There you
signals.
And it's only water in the middle, right?
There
Exactly,
you
just
go.
water.
Yeah.
Just water.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Take that
That's a
bullet train
potential.
over. You can get to the West Coast in about what, 30 minutes. Take that bullet train, right?
Right. But you have to find a flat earther there in Korea, and they go to the coast there, and then we have to plan this stuff. But I always thought about it, like a clear day, if you can see Japan from Korea, that's 500 miles. That's damn.
That's great.
Yeah, that's a long one.
Mm.
Yep.
And
So,
yeah,
does
also
anybody?
here, yeah, go ahead, Jeannie.
No, I was just curious if anybody knew how come you can't fly drones too high. Is that only for planes, or do they just not want us to see too much? The FAA rules you're not allowed to fly a drone at a certain height. I'm just curious.
Well, I think part of that would be the fact that there are air traffic patterns that.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would imagine they don't want the
The airliners. They don't want the airliners crashing into them.
plane,
That's why.
I mean, hitting an airline or
All
something.
right. That's what they
That's
say.
right.
I just wondered if there was anything more to it.
Oh,
Because I was
No.
asking my cousin to go. I asked my cousin to fly his, and that's what he told me. But I told him I want to see
I
how.
think there's a 1,000-foot ceiling. I used to have several, but when they first registered them, I just had to have it on the drone. Now you have to have it like 3 different places and on the outside visible. Before you just had to have it on there.
Oh, really?
But they've definitely tightened up the restrictions since I've stopped flying mine. But I knew it couldn't be near an airport. I knew it had to be under 1,000 feet. You can get away with it kind of flying over the mountains in Utah. I mean, but
Yeah, that's where my next question would be. Like, if there's no airport around, can you get away with it and really get that thing up
yeah,
there where it can't even fly anymore?
yeah.
'Cause I know helicopters can't fly more than like 24,000 feet. I think, Rob, is that right? Or they need the turbine to get up there, and they have a hard time with it.
Well, I
That's
mean,
correct.
you do
A
realize that
helicopter doesn't fly that high. But when it
the
comes
not enough
to
air.
50 B3
weather,
at Mount Everest at the
Right.
peak. That's 31,000 feet.
Yeah, you can't.
Brett, say
There's
that
not a
again.
lot of There's not a lot of helicopters can make it up there though.
No.
You need
Yeah,
a special turbine one.
he's about the only one that's ever done it.
Very
That French
few.
pilot.
Yeah, it was in the 1970s, right?
No, that was far more recent. It was like 2005, I think.
Oh, okay. All right.
He had just enough fuel to get up, and from the way I understand it, you have to land on it and stay there for a minute, and you can see the whole helicopter. He's got a camera on the tail, and then he just hovers back to, I say Earth, but yeah, he just floats back down. I think he's like literally out of gas, and he's just propelling back towards the Earth.
Yeah, it doesn't take much time. It doesn't take too much fuel to descend. You can just kind of float your way down.
Up is
There you go.
optional, down is mandatory.
Yeah, exactly. All landings are mandatory. What goes up must come down. That applies to
Where those
NASA
rocket
too.
guys at?
Takeoffs are
Yeah,
optional.
exactly. Yeah.
Just like
So-
the Disney logo, that motion of the rocket going over the castle. And
Piercing the dome, right? The Tower of Babel, piercing the dome. That's what that Tower of Babel is all about. Piercing the dome. Mythology. So, Brett, here's the answer to your question. Flight level 18,000 feet. That's where airliner airspace begins. So whether you have an airport there or not, there's probably going to be air traffic up there, 18,000 feet. flight level 180.
Honestly, I don't think you're going to get a drone that high before it runs out.
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean,
the
I don't mean like
transmission.
the damn Predator or Reaper or
Yeah. Exactly. Right. Those are all
talking about
military, of course.
your Mavic Air 2, Pro or whatever.
Or a Tesla. A red Tesla flies that high, doesn't it?
Yeah, does it come with 4 wheels and an astronaut?
Yeah. Exactly. Right. It flies with the rag top down even at that altitude too.
Do you guys know the movie Heavy
Yeah,
Metal?
Absolutely, man. That was Stern. I love that movie.
Well, how about the predictive programming in that? Just that alone with the car in space.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
That little
Predictive
green
programming.
marble did a lot of damage too.
Pretty incredible.
Yeah, but when I was a kid, Space Camp was a thing. The movie Space Camp and Explorers. With was it River Phoenix? I think was in it.
I did not see that one.
Got the 3 kids that have a computer that allows them to levitate, and they end up taking off into space, and they meet some aliens, and
cool.
Yeah, I mean that's
yeah. Is that the one where their computer was powered with a 9-volt battery?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Remember, that's how they got to the moon, though, bro. Game Boy technology.
Yeah, exactly right.
Did they lose that technology? I heard they lost that technology,
It
guys.
doesn't exist anymore. It was so complicated.
But actually, it's not lost. They destroyed it. Sorry.
Yeah.
11,000.
And they accidentally lost all the film clips of it. All the reels, the 180 reels of footage. They just lost it.
The truckload full of them. But we have Don Pettit for good comedy.
Does anybody actually still think that like the Voyager 1 is still sending pictures back with that day's technology, and it's past the universe and Uranus? I always go back to Uranus because it's just funny to say.
It rains diamonds on Uranus,
Yes, it does. I saw that article.
Yeah.
Like 63 Earths would fit in Uranus, 64 if you just relax.
Yeah. They would pull that ball of gas back here within 1 nanosecond if there was that many diamonds there.
The whole situation with the globe, if you really think about it, it just looks like a huge joke. Like we ourselves sometimes have to believe it's so much crap and so fake, and it's still going on. And it's so hard to believe that is so easy. How easy they are putting it out there, because it's no credibility in anything they do.
Every day
in anything.
Just go to MSNBC, you'll see, or MSN.com, you'll see 13 articles that NASA found or NASA discovered. Whether it's Mars, new river, or a storm cell, or
Water on Mars by Sophia found water on Mars.
Yes.
Crazy.
Solid joke.
How about Parker Space Probe landing and on the sun? They didn't land on the sun, but they flew through the corona, which is 1.8 million degrees, and they have shields on the camera so it does.
Why doesn't every firefighter have that same material as a suit in some way, shape, or form?
No, because they need it all in space.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And they did a flyby, and they're gonna do it again. It's insane. And these, I've been on a page or two, a science page, and they defend this stuff with, they have special carbon-9 heat shields. You don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, okay, you can stay with that story, but that's how do you test for that? Is there anything in this world that can get to 1.8 million degrees, guys?
Exactly.
Right.
No, I'm serious.
Those little experiments they show you, like, oh, we're in a vacuum chamber right now, and see, it does ignite. We can produce thrust. Oh no, that's because there's air in there, still igniting that laser, hitting the gunpowder.
Yeah,
the old air in the back of the thing. Yeah, in a true vacuum, in the next video where he removed it all and there's nothing there, that laser ain't lighting up shit. I don't. all those stories about, oh, it's got an oxidizer, it's got an oxygen generator, it's got no, dude, shut up. There's nothing to bounce off of. There's no there's no
Yeah,
water to
I
manipulate,
know.
no medium to manipulate. It's not doing nothing up there. They're not up there. They're in the green screen, just like the Will
That's
Smith little, green screen thing. He's not only not on the island, he's not even that age. As a matter of fact, he's not even there. The whole thing is made up. But you thought he was on a green
yeah.
screen after you thought he was on the island. He wasn't even there. They fabricated the whole damn thing. But here you are, watching some astronaut working with a wrench outside on the International Space Station. World's worst engineer.
5 miles a
You know?
second.
There goes the bubble. Bubbles in space.
Never.
Yeah, them and bugs or flies or something, right? The flies and bubbles. One astronaut almost drowned. Oh, what was it? What was the reason again?
The saliva? Yeah, right.
Oh, it filled up his suit, huh?
Joke. And then that picture that me and you posted earlier, Jeannie. The first picture ever taken from outer space.
Oh, the weather balloon.
No. The watch, I'm pulling it up right now. The first television picture from space, April 1st, 1960, was on April Fool's Day.
Oh yeah.
You see the shape of that thing?
All awkward.
It's like an egg.
Yeah.
Yeah, the amount of satellites they say that exist, and they don't show even one. And
I want
it's
you to
crazy that
I want you to show me one.
exactly from where.
Exactly. Oh, wait. Don't show me a satellite. Don't show me an airplane. I want you to show me a satellite that is geosynchronous and giving me my direct TV, because apparently a half a hemisphere away, my dish is angled at 13.6 degrees to some unknown distance instead of straight over my head, which is where the closest satellite would be, right above me. But I want to point a half a hemisphere away so I could have clear cable.
It's crazy. Yeah. Also, and Joshua mentioned also that he worked with the satellite company because Joshua is also pilot and aerospace engineer. So he really saw into it that and saw that it was a hoax too. Like it's nothing. And how much money these people make, because the people who are running these telecommunication companies, they're not there involved in the satellite. They just want the coverage, however the hell it's coming, you know. So whoever's controlling this information about those fake satellites and taking all those billions of dollars to NASA, somebody is taking loads of money in the middle and just giving them the coverage and saying that, you see, we are sending these boxes that are up floating up there and giving you coverage. Every time you put your credit card in your bank, that signal goes up to the satellite, comes back, and it's all freaking happening through the cables, to the Wi-Fi, to the towers. So how this control of information. So many people are working in these fields. They are building whatever, but nothing is going up.
I didn't want to interrupt you guys, but I'm gonna bounce off for the night.
Yeah, we
Correct.
too. It's almost 2 hours plus hours. Yep, and it's quite late here too. So we drifted almost too off the topic, but it's always good. It's always nice. We always dismantle the globe. So that's
Always fun.
great. So yeah, we'll have last thoughts and then we're gonna wrap it up, guys. So who wants to go ahead?
I'm gonna be the first one here.
Go
Sorry.
ahead. Go ahead, Eddie.
All right. So there's not much to talk about today. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens with this flight, how they're gonna fake it, and then we'll come back to talk about it. So I want to send a big hug to everybody on the chat. Gene, Brett, Rob, Kevin, Vika. Until next time, it was very nice being here with you guys.
Thanks, Eddie.
Thank
You
you,
too,
Eddie.
brother.
Thank you, Eddie.
Excellent,
Much
brother.
love.
Yeah, Eddie, thank you for bringing that up, and yeah, we're gonna be totally on it. And yes, Mr. Casey, we are waiting what you do with this your video, and please present us with all what we are asking, okay, including
There
the
you go.
permit.
Please show your flight route. Please show your time, distance, and heading. Show us where you're departing
Receipts.
from and landing from, so we can verify. If you want to talk about peer review, well, we got plenty of people over here who can understand flight routes. Time equals distance over speed. We can do that. Show us how you did it. When you show us and we can verify, then we can talk. Then you might enter the community. Until then, you're nothing. You're just a fly on the wall screaming globe. And we know how to we know how to destroy the globe. Any single factor that we've mentioned during this last 2 hours, any single factor disproves the globe, because the globe is a mathematical, geometric, geospatial, geophysical, and in all other respects a scientific absurdity, and it is therefore a deliberate fallacy. It doesn't take too much to disprove the globe. And then when we do that, the glass of water, a bottle of water, a glass of water on a kitchen counter, on anybody's kitchen counter, it's motionless. It's perfectly still and motionless. Water doesn't move. It doesn't curve. The earth is 70% water. It doesn't curve. It cannot curve. There it is. No motion, no curve. There goes the heliocentrism. The earth is a motionless circular plane, as the Bible describes. The Bible proves Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is the truth. All power and glory to Jesus Christ, the Son of God. That's all for me.
Amen.
Thank you,
Beautiful, Rob.
thank you,
Amen.
Rob,
Thank
for
you.
passing by. It's always great to
Yes.
have you, brother.
Thanks for all of your webcasting work, Vika. You put a lot of work into it. Thank you, Flat Earth Guru.
Sorry for showing up late, but I'll just state that the mapped Earth that we know is 71% water lies level. I do look forward to seeing how they're going to lie and pretty much make all of the airlines that have routes look like idiots in some way, taking a 33-hour flight and making it into a 13-hour flight. I'd love to see this.
Right.
They'll be doing that tomorrow. This will never happen. I sadly think April 8th and April 20th will come and go, and it will be an excuse, just like booking a trip to go from the bottom of South America to the actual island or the land of Antarctica. There are stories of people who have actually no shit tried to book these trips to prove a point that it's not going to happen, and of course it doesn't happen. And all of the comments from these wonderful trips these people take all have four-letter names like Barb and Anna, and it's fake, it's faux, it's not going to happen. The 8th and the 20th are going to come, and it's just going to be another stall tactic. Just ruffle feathers. But anyway, y'all have a good night. I will talk to you, Vika, or whoever. Like I said, you can find me, Flat Earth Freeman, on Facebook. I tend to stay away from the other drives. But, I'm around. Just been busy. But I'll find you, Vika, and find out what the next topic is to talk about.
There you go.
Sure, Brett. Thanks for passing by, bro. It's always a pleasure to have you too. Yeah, we're gonna update on all this. Yes, thanks for passing by, brother. Who's next? Who's going next? Kevin, Jeannie, whoever.
I'll go. I'd like to say thanks to the audience. We love you guys. I hope you're having fun out there. I know we are. Vika, you're the man for having me. I love being here. This is great. It's so much fun tearing this apart. And Kevin, Brett, Rob, I love you guys. Always good to have you here. And Eddie is a special guest. That video is awesome. I can't wait till this is all done and we come back and shred this video they got. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I hope everyone in the audience go look at Flatten the Curve. Go to Vika's channel on YouTube or Real Truth Seekers and check out Flatten the Curve if you haven't. Share it because this is shredding the globe, guys. It's coming down.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yep.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Jeannie, for
Gene.
passing by, brother.
Uh, thank you.
It's
Thank
always
you.
great pleasure to have you too. Yeah, and as I said earlier, yes, flatten the curve is got some hope back, and it's good to see
Yeah.
that. So thank you guys, everyone, for passing by, everyone in the chat, and for sure check us out next week. And hey, Kevin, no,
Yes.
Kevin, last thoughts, brother.
Just rest in peace, the globe. Give Jesus Christ the glory, the way, the truth, and the life.
Voila. The way, the truth, and the life. Flat Earth is just one component of the larger truth that is the creation of the Creator, Jesus Christ. Voila.
Voila, amen.
Thank you, Kevin, for passing by, brother. It's always also great to have you. And
Thank you
yes,
so much,
Eddie,
guys.
we are gonna be on lookout of this on every information, and we are here to just rip this apart. We are already doing, and we are waiting for everything they want to throw at us. So thank you for bringing it and all your work, Eddie, too. And thank you, Jeannie. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Brett, and thank you everyone in the chat for joining us. For sure, we're gonna join next week with amazing content, more amazing content. So this is bye, guys. This is Vikat Razi signing out from HelioPsychosis podcast. Bye, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.